Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here with you this morning, one day away from preseason practice beginning for Ole Miss football. Talk a little football today, some other stuff going on around the sports world. We're kind of in the last sort of days of doldrums before everything really picks up. I saw a week 0 college football schedule that is getting going this month.
That.
We are inside the month as there will be football played in August.
Vanderbilt at Hawaii.
Is that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I contemplated, because we always said we pick every SEC game. I'm like, God, we have to break out Neal's picks a week early just to do
just for Vanderbilt.
Hawaii.
I mean, does Vanderbilt really count?
I mean, that's what I was kind of thinking too.
I mean, we could pick week 0 games if you just feel froggy that day, but I mean, it's not overly necessary.
I suspect by that point we're going to be a little fatigued.
So you want adding a content item simply for Vanderbilt is not
feels like something that
feels like a reach.
Feels like something that 20-something days from now I won't want to do.
I see in the stream Vanderbilt's favored by 7.
God, Hawaii must suck.
I mean, seriously. Hey, Vanderbilt's on the rise, baby. They're headed in they're headed upward.
Sammy, it wasn't on the Ferris wheel. It was on the Gravitron.
Huh?
Something from the McCready and Siskey podcast yesterday.
Okay. A lot of podcasts up at rebelgrove.com or MPW Digital, whatever. I don't know. It's all whatever.
It's MPW Digital. We are not connected officially to rebelgrove.com.
That is correct. Siskey and McCready and Siskey McCready. What are we doing?
It's McCready and Siskey.
You get to go first?
Well,
is it alphabetical order?
If you do M&S, it sounds a lot better than S&M.
Oh. Well, I mean, Andy Staples has the Andy Staples show, The Ass.
He does.
So
that's not as bad as S&M.
Okay, that's fair. Light B&D, it's all good. So that's up. Rippy this morning. You did a G pitch yesterday.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. MPW Digital. Check it out. You know, you're already here. So appreciate it as always. Also appreciate if you stop into the Oxford Exxon Highway 6 West in Oxford. I'm still trying to give you $10. All we're doing is you download the app, the Exxon mobile app, take a picture of the QR code right there at the pump, and it's ready to go for you. Clean convenience store and much more there, including the ribs I told you about. You need to take care of dinner one night, wet or dry, ready to go for you there with the Oxford Exxon and all Blue Sky locations throughout Mississippi. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi. Stop by Amory, Mississippi. Go to not Clark Ford, but go to Larry Clark Chevrolet. And there you can see tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time. You can see the Ole Miss National Championship Trophy. I would assume you'd be allowed to take photos with it and things of that nature. That's brought to you by Clark Ford and Larry Clark Chevrolet. Clark Ford in Amory, 662-257-1900. Call that number and ask for our buddy Corey. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Guest will join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford. Great place to grab a burger, a po' boy, an appetizer. Getting close to the time of year when you can stop in, watch a ball game. English Premier League starts on Saturday, so maybe you can watch some Premier League. I'm sure Chase will be riveted to it. I'll be watching some Premier League. I'm actually kind of fired up about it. Anyway, all that stuff, NFL preseason getting started soon. So stop in Rafters, make it part of your routine. Grab a beer, full bar, and more there at Rafters on the Square in Oxford, Rafters in New Albany, and then still, as we call it, preseason camp. There's a reason for that because it's not fall yet. It's still summer. You can go enjoy a summer weekend at Rafters on the water, frozen margaritas, beer, grab a burger. While you're still out on the water cooling off because it's still hot outside. It's not fall yet. We can have football, and we can call it football camp, but we're not going to call it fall camp because it's not camp that's happening in the fall.
What do you constitute fall?
Well, it has to be September 21st or beyond, number one. And then number two, fall is when
there's a technical thing there.
There's a little something in the air.
You got to feel that crispness.
Just
at least a hint of the crispness.
A touch of it. There's no touch of it right now.
August 2nd is not a touch of it? No.
Well, not this August 2nd. That's for damn sure. If you walk outside today, no part of you goes, it's kind of fall.
Yeah.
I got up. I got up early this morning. Watered all the plants outside. It was hot. It was fine, but it was hot. It wasn't fall. You know fall when you feel fall.
Yeah, Mississippi and Austin Riley with a 10-year extension with the Atlanta Braves. He just set the Braves franchise record for most extra base hits in a month, breaking Hank Aaron's record. He's in the MVP conversation, at least at this point, for Atlanta.
So the AAV on that's what, about 21, 22 million?
Is that what it is?
Something like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
It looked like a team-friendly deal. It also allows him to lock up for a long time, just play baseball, make some money.
Well, I'm sure
Pretty good deal there.
I'm going to guess when you put your head on the pillow at night and you go, you know what, I just made $220 million. I'm going to guess that you sleep well.
It's going to be all right, isn't it?
I bet you're thinking to yourself.
You're not frustrated about what it could have been a little differently, are you?
No, and he's a like you said, he's a Mississippi kid. Stay in the South. I don't know what no trade or clauses or whatever in the contract, but it's a team friendly deal. But it's a ton of insurance for him and security, and I'm going to guess that you can live a pretty nice lifestyle on 20 some odd million a year. I think I could do it.
Could do that in Atlanta. Find places that would suit your fancy.
Yes. See, regular size Ben says, Neal, did Oxford High School start their fall semester? They did, but that is a semester that will carry over into the fall. Preseason camp will end in the month of August. No part of August
that's a good
is in the fall. I'm right on this. Listen, I'm wrong on a lot of stuff.
That's a valid one. Okay.
And people can take me to the NFL calls it training camp. Fair enough. Only the college people try to call this fall camp. Nothing about fall.
It's one of those we've always done it this way, so we're still doing it this way, right?
Yeah, but I think you look at it and go, this is wrong, and you fix it.
Yeah, Riley's deal starts in 23, runs through 32, and includes a $20 million club option for 33, if you so care.
Okay.
He's donating $2.12 million of that to some foundation. Let's see. Yeah, this is what was said there, and it's important. With the extension, the Braves' young core of Riley, Acuna, and Ozzie Albies are all now signed through at least 2025. Albies' contract runs through 2025 with options in 26 and 27. Acuna, 26 with options in 27 and 28, and all three are at least 25 or younger. So
yeah, they're poised to have a really nice run. They have Olsen signed on an 8-year deal. I think it's one of the reasons the Nationals are so seriously considering moving Juan Soto today.
Is it you're kind of like, man?
Well, I mean, the Mets are for real.
Yeah.
The Braves are for real. The Phillies
are going to try, at least.
They have some pieces to be real.
Yeah.
You don't.
So, Riley currently, from an odds standpoint, in second place for the NL MVP, but he is far behind Paul Goldschmidt of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
Goldschmidt is at minus 140, meaning if you bet 100, you got to bet 140 to win 100. Riley at second place is at plus 500. You can bet 100 to win 500 on one Austin Riley right now.
I'm braced for a really horrific day of baseball.
Today?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Cardinals Soto talk
that would not be
feels real. The interesting thing with the Cardinals would be, could you sign him to a long-term deal? Because I don't know that they could put the money together to make that happen. And then, of course, the Cubs are going to trade Wilson Contreras today. Probably trade Ian Happ today. Just kind of a crappy day. 2 years in a row.
ESPN says the top 10 players that are likely to be traded today, Juan Soto at number 1. For him, as you just said, they had Padres, Dodgers, Cardinals as the favorites, but the Rangers are the sleeper in that, apparently.
Really?
That's what somebody said.
Sign me up.
Passan. Contreras, number 2, obviously.
Padres, Mets.
Rays, Astros, Guardians, Mets, Cardinals.
Well, if they trade him to the Cardinals, they better get an absolute haul.
Josh Bell, first baseman of the Nationals, number 3. David Robertson, reliever from the Cubs, number 4.
Yeah, he's gone.
Ian Happ, number 5. Syndergaard, the Angels, number 6.
Yeah.
Nathan Eovaldi from the Red Sox, 7. JD Martinez, Red Sox, 8. Let's see. Tyler Maul from the Reds, 9, and Carlos Rodon, 10 from the Giants. Those are the 10. So
I anticipate hearing Rodon's name a lot in November and December.
Do you?
Yeah.
In Chicago?
Yes.
Really?
Yes. The one thing that I am emboldened by is from talking to people who know, or who believe they know, or who seem to know. I think the Cubs are going to spend this offseason. I think they know they have no choice.
So they're going to reverse it and go.
Yeah. And frankly, the decisions that they made last year at the deadline all look pretty good right now. The Bryant trade, for example, was a good trade. I mean, he's breaking down in Colorado.
Yeah, because you hadn't really heard about him. I mean, that appears like it absolutely was the right move.
Yeah, the feeling there was he was not going to age well. I was always for trading Baez, as much as I love Javi Baez. And he'll go down as one of my all-time favorite players ever. And then the Rizzo thing, I kind of wish they would have kept him. And he's had a good year in New York. But I understood it.
So, and I don't want to get crazy off in MLB minutia here, but was this a good deal for everybody with the Padres and Brewers just switching closers yesterday?
Yeah, because Milwaukee has a closer ready to go in Devin Williams.
Okay.
So they could move Hader, who was expensive and was going to get more expensive. The Padres needed a closer. Probably didn't want to pay there was some talk about Contreras, Happ, and Robertson all going to San Diego in a package. That obviously the Cubs would have been able to go, okay, so we want this prospect and this prospect and this prospect. We want them all. And they were included some guys, an outfielder named Harrell, I think, that San Diego doesn't want to move. So that probably allowed them to lower the price on a Contreras deal if they end up doing that. Yeah, it makes sense for everybody. It's a good trade between two good teams.
Like I said, they're both in it. I mean, that's whatever.
Oh, no, they're both.
Astros busy yesterday picking up Trey Mancini from the Orioles and Christian Vasquez from the Red Sox on the course of the day.
The American League feels like a Yankees-Astros series is inevitable.
It does. I mean, it really, really does. Vasquez was in the Red Sox lineup Monday at Houston before being scratched, just minutes before the game. Now today he'll just go across the dugout and play.
Yeah, he did an interview on the field after getting traded yesterday. So he was technically a Houston Astro, and he was decked out in his Red Sox garb. It had to feel weird.
It's the strangest. Because of the way that works with when the deadlines are, it is in baseball plays every day. It's the strangest sports thing there is, actually.
Yeah,
it is. It sets up to at least potentially be the strangest professional sports item.
It sort of happened to Andrew Benintendi a week ago when he got traded from the Royals to the Yankees, and his first game was at Yankee Stadium against the Royals. Had to be a weird feeling. Hey, I was just wearing your uniform 48 hours ago.
Now I'm pitching against that dude who I sat on the plane next to.
Yeah, now I'm.
Yeah.
By the way, remember Brady Singer at Florida?
Yeah.
He's a dude.
Oh, really?
Yes, sir. I watched a lot of that Yankees-Royals game. The Yankees ended up winning, but Singer was fantastic. He's got electric stuff.
Orioles being pretty disciplined. They send Mancini. They know it's not now. Stop.
Yeah, he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year.
You weren't going to hold.
Yeah, Mancini's name's going to pop up a good bit in some bigger markets. The Orioles are getting closer, but they're not ready. It's not time. But they're doing a pretty good job organizationally of building.
Baltimore and the draft deadline also coming. I mean, I know Ole Miss has been done there, but they lose a third-round pick. They do not get him signed, but they do get a comp pick back. He is a pitcher from Oklahoma State, so I wonder if Watts Brown went one day too fast there on his decision because he was assuming that the Oklahoma State McLean would sign with the Orioles.
He's a good arm.
Yeah. So now he is back in Stillwater for 2023.
Oh.
He ain't signed nothing yet. Like, whoa, hold on. Like,
yeah, he's on the
check hadn't cashed.
He's on the phone right now.
Hey, Kansas State, what do you got over there? We good? All right. Got some NIL money.
Yeah, because now if he picks up the phone and were to call one of the SEC teams, they're like, I mean, okay, but
You have to earn some back right there.
Yeah. You kind of showed us a little something that we didn't necessarily like.
Yeah. So,
and those are not two programs that are going to be like super flexible in the way they approach things. Ole Miss and Arkansas.
Not going to get down and grovel.
Well, I mean, they just kind of have a way that they do things. Two coaches that have been there for decades. They're going to sort of set in their ways a little bit. I don't know that you're going to change everything for one transfer portal pitcher.
You know, I'm stalling more than anything else to go to break in a second. You and I were just kind of on the phone yesterday chatting, and we always talk about Van Horn and how much longer he is at Arkansas and stuff, but what makes us think he's not coaching another 10 years? I mean, like, we do this and keep going, what about this guy and this guy and this guy, but who says Dave's leaving?
It's a fan base that's kind of frustrated with him from what I can tell, but he's getting results. I mean, he's finished second and third in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
And that's not winning it.
Been to Omaha 7 times or whatever it is.
They go to Omaha on a pretty regular basis. They are, like Ole Miss, always competitive. I mean, I guess they've had a dog year somewhere in the last.
They had one dog year a few years ago. Yeah.
But, for the most part, they don't, like, if I said, hey, put together a list of 15 teams that you think will be in Omaha next year, they're on it.
Pretty much every year.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, so I won't.
He's 61.
Yeah.
He's got time, man.
I won't steal the thunder from the brainstorm you had yesterday, but
he's got to leave.
But it could get interesting. That, like, if the scholarship thing happens.
I mean, look, yeah, I can say it. I mean, it wasn't like I had any sources. I was just running my mouth to Neal yesterday, and I said, they both have some weird stuff going on. You've got Van Horn, who, his fan base is kind of being stupid, and they like him. They just want him to win a title. It's a weird spot to be for the most part. What if we just picked up Tim Corbin instead? Tim Corbin wants out of Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, that thing's... And now, look, they're not going to suck, but they're no longer going to be the preeminent voice in college baseball. And
he would go to a place that was a top 5 program immediately. If the scholarships are all full, Ole Miss, Arkansas.
I mean, Corbin was clowning around this offseason.
Yeah, we've talked about this.
He was pissed.
I mean, Ole Miss, LSU, Arkansas, Texas,
A&M.
Texas A&M, top 5.
And whatever you want to do on state, yeah.
If you want to include state, I'm not as convinced as others, but okay. Those are the top 5 programs in the country. Pick your order by whatever makes you happy. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt would not be. I don't think Vanderbilt is right now.
They're struggling with NIL. They're losing guys in a bunch of different ways. It's the perfect storm that's hitting Vanderbilt right now. They're going to be good. I'm not saying they're falling off and becoming Alabama. But they've lost guys to the draft that were coin flips. They've been unable to procure talent the way LSU and some teams have because of NIL and the lack thereof. They just don't have a fan base that's going to support that. And with this scholarship thing looming in the next 12, 18 months, whatever it looks like, suddenly you went from this team and this program with all these resources that were better than everybody else, and you're just another dude at this point.
Yeah.
With a small stadium and a cool town. And
the facilities are fine.
They've done a good job on player amenities.
Yeah, but so have a lot of other teams in the league.
That's not foreign.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, Ole Miss has some player amenities.
Yeah.
LSU's got player amenities. Arkansas's got player amenities.
Yeah.
Better than Vanderbilt's, frankly.
Everybody got a neat weight room. It's going to be all right. You'll have it. So, anyway, just a thought.
I mean, the rumblings on Corbin that are out there, whether they're true or not, I don't know, or that he's interested in doing the major league thing.
And I just don't. Yeah, come back. Podcast brought to you in part by Prime Shrimp. PrimeShrimp.com. 5 different flavors for you. Straight from freezer to plate in less than 10 minutes, especially with school starting back this week. You can get one easy. You can just throw it in some boiling water, flip it a couple times, and it is ready to go with restaurant quality shrimp straight for you. You've got the signature blend, which is my favorite, little spicy options. You've got the straight up meals in a bag with the French Quarter Alfredo and the garlic herb butter and the Simply Shrimp. It's great for kids, discerning palates. You just doctor it up yourself and have it ready to go. And also they're now selling their individually frozen shrimp, just like you would get at the grocery store. It's up a higher quality from the New Orleans-based company. So, again, code MPW for first-time buyers, $20 off with that. Again, that's primeshrimp.com.
Southern Traditions Farm is a 68-acre, 32-stall upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. 2 sand rings, a grass ring, miles of wooded trails, a lot to be offered. You also can host events, parties out there. Get in touch with them about that. Get in touch with Bowers Cone, with Susan Walt, and the people at Southern Traditions Farm on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. We are also brought to you by Corinth Dental. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward, chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves. One smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing available at corinthdental.com. Brought to you by The Rogue, 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. Their stylist hand-select pieces from top designers. From work to lifestyle to nightlife, it's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. Again, 4450 I-55 North or therogue.com. And we're brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency. Yesterday I was telling you about if you're looking for a job, or what if your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent? Service Specialist can help you as well. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You've got nothing to lose. So give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138, or check out their new and improved website at servicespecialist.com. ServiceSpecialistLTD.com, I should say. And I'll have a mailbag up tomorrow. I'm trying to get that where it's going to be early tomorrow because we've got a really busy day at rebelgrove.com. It's brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. She sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes. You can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
Podcast is brought to you by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis, so getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float-down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com. Now, look, I don't know. I mean, that's the thought is from a lot of people is just how good is Corbin, because he's won a couple titles. He's by far had the best roster every year. I would kind of like to see him somewhere else, just to see what that program would look like at a different place with Corbin running it. I mean, he's
got a great reputation.
He's the combination of he's one of the few cases that you can say he's underrated and overrated. He's at a school that only cares about his sport because of him.
Yeah.
Has great resources in a lot of ways, but kind of nothingness in some other ways. He's been able to cultivate such a good professional player relationship at Vanderbilt and become kind of that gold standard for protecting arms, pushing people to the next level, getting them back on campus, and letting that be the identity. It's the closest baseball has to kind of the built by Bama thing from a football standpoint.
He's got a pretty good coaching wing, a lot of major league influence from his former coaching staff. A lot of his guys have gone on to become very good pitching coaches and things of that nature in the bigs.
Yeah. I mean, one of his former coaches was a cross-checker for the Yankees and was the head of scouting for the Marlins. I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. I mean, it's
Johnson went to the Cubs organization. I think he's now the Brewers pitching coach. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff. He's
Scott
good.
Brown's been with him forever. He just coached with Mike at Team USA.
He's good.
I'd like to see it. I'd just be curious to see what that would look like somewhere else. What we just did was about the most you can get out of the MLB trade deadline, where I almost feel like I'm having to apologize for talking about it versus it had been the NFL trade deadline. We've just spent 3 shows on it this week.
Sure.
And been doing this and this. And instead I'm like, hey, there's baseball, I know, but kind of going to talk for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even the biggest story today.
No, not at all.
It's behind like training camp stuff. The NFL doesn't play for more than a month.
I'll get a Hall of Fame game this week.
Yeah, but they don't play a real game for a month.
the Hall of Fame game will get higher ratings than any Major League Baseball game this week.
Yes. When's the Hall of Fame game? Is it Saturday?
Thursday or
Thursday?
Friday or something?
I don't know.
Something.
Do we have anything Thursday night?
I don't know. I don't know the situation behind this, but I did see this morning that UCLA is receiving $67.5 million from Under Armour. It's part of a settlement to resolve the school's lawsuit against the apparel company for terminating a record apparel sponsorship deal, according to a document obtained by ESPN. I'm reading from them. They agreed to the settlement back in May, which, Under Armour is paying $67,491,275. It absolves both parties of any liability because Under Armour informed UCLA it intended to terminate a 15-year, $280 million deal to be the sponsor, citing, quote, marketing benefits that UCLA had not provided for an extended time period. Under Armour tried to attempt to invoke the clause where they didn't have to pay anything, and then it went downhill from there. But really, it works out great for UCLA because they pick up $67 million and can just go wear whatever the hell they want from somebody else.
They need it.
They got stuff going on.
I mean,
that's a good check for them right now.
They admit they were hurting a little bit.
Yeah.
By the way, we do get a game Thursday night while we do the live show. We get Jacksonville and Las Vegas, 7 o'clock on NBC from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton. Is that the same Tom Benson or is that a different Tom Benson?
I guess it's the same, but I was not aware of that being named after
so there you go.
After him. I haven't read it, but ESPN has a story up today that could be interesting. Probably interesting. It says the 11 biggest power brokers and advocates shaping the future of college football, and it's a list of 11 people, and then it's kind of short interviews with each of them. So an interesting.
Who are the 11?
The 11 are, and I'll have to scroll, so this could take a second. Realignment and future of super conferences, Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner. He leads off the list.
Yeah.
I don't think you have any issue with his inclusion on that list. From the governance and regulation side, U.S. Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. That's who they have there. Basically, in case it goes congressional, he's the leader in that in that situation. Name, image, and likeness, Jim Cavalier, founder of INFLCR, a platform by colleges to track and send content to athletes. In 2017, since then, the business has exploded to serve more than 170 teams and 100,000 athletes, helping them build and manage their brands. So he is talking about NIL at this point.
Okay.
He is who they chose for that. Player unionization, Ramaji Huma, executive director of the National College Players Association. Basically, if it's ever got anywhere near unions or anything along those lines, he's the guy. He and I actually have a mutual friend. I've been trying to get him on the podcast for over a year.
Really?
Yes. Have tried really hard there. Guys reached out, done a lot, and just can't quite get that set up. But, yeah, he is involved in case it goes to any level of that. I don't know why this guy's here. I guess because maybe, I don't know. Tyson Helton, the Western Kentucky head coach. You could have given me 7 million names, and I wouldn't have come up with that.
I don't know.
Says Helton surprisingly doesn't see the portal as nightmares for the Group of Five after the 2021 season in which Western Kentucky went 9-5, 7-2 in Conference USA and earned a Boca Raton Bowl win over App State. He lost key players to Penn State, Ole Miss, Minnesota, Texas Tech, and Auburn. But Helton has already seen the instant impact that a warm embrace of the portal can have on his program. So essentially it's talking about how a Group of Five team can survive the portal the other direction.
Yeah.
Is what that is involved in.
Well, then in some ways you use that in recruiting. At some point, you have to embrace it. Hey, look, if you come here and excel, look where we've sent players. I mean, it's sort of the data supermodel knowing she's going to break up with you theory. But
Kiffin would be the name, but they've talked to him so much. But they use, from a recruiting from a brand standpoint, they're actually using Deion Sanders here for this list, as in you have to. I don't really buy that, but that is what they are trying to do.
That's a real reach.
I mean, he's at an FCS school.
I mean, does Deion really have a brand? I mean, come on.
Well, no.
I mean, I could probably name 20 college coaches that have more of a brand than Deion.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is he is trying to pick up kids from every different avenue. Like you're going wide on how you're approaching it. Like I said,
Okay.
Lane's actually the much better example. They just talk to Lane all the time. At this point, so I think it was among plenty of other things. Mike Taylor, co-founder of I don't know, whatever. Some dude who worked for the American Football Coaches Association, and he has a thing that is streamlining the evaluation of prospects, not for traits and behaviors that can be seen, but ones that can't. But anyway, whatever. I don't care. That's irrelevant. Mike Loxley, Maryland head coach, is on here. Something about diversity and inclusion. Mental health person is on here. Never heard of the person, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, anyway, this is not as interesting as I thought it was, so we'll move on. Don't really care. Let's see. It's on ESPN if you care. Sankey's interview is there. I have not read through it, so it might be worth at least a look from that standpoint, if you so wish. You mentioned it. Busy day tomorrow. Got media day tomorrow afternoon. If you get 2 or 3 kids, you actually could truth serum a little bit. Who you want to talk to?
Ooh. Truth serum.
Or just talk to them in general, assuming they tell the truth. I mean, we don't have to drug anybody.
That's true.
I mean, we can start slow.
I mean, Luke Altmaier. I'd like to talk to Luke. I'd like to talk to Jonathan Mingo. Know just how healthy he is. Who'd be the other one? Oh, I mean, I'd love to talk to Aishim Young. Have a real conversation.
That's where the truth serum might need to come in.
Yeah, that's where we might need to inject
the
was it sodium pentothal?
Yeah.
That might be my guys.
All jokes aside, I am really interested in Aishim Young from the standpoint of, like I said yesterday, he was the portal guy with the most resume to date at a power conference where you went, no, we kind of know exactly what you're getting with him moving over. And having that injury and losing weight and being out for that period of time, what is his impact? What's his recovery? What does that look like? I mean, I have no idea.
Yeah, I talked to someone who had talked to Matt Campbell about Aishim Young, and he was like, it spoke highly of him, but at the same time, they weren't like particularly worked up about him leaving. They felt like they had replaced with better. So I'm curious to see. It's the thing that I'm really interested in with Ole Miss's defense. Like there's a handful of storylines that I don't know that we've really talked enough about. It's a new coordinator. I know he was the co-coordinator, but I don't think he was the coordinator. Does that make sense?
Okay, sure.
I think Durkin was the coordinator. So what does Chris Partridge's defense look like? We saw spring stuff, but
that doesn't count.
I was listening to Rippy's show with Welton Rotenberg, and I agree completely. The spring, it doesn't feel, there's no sense of urgency in the spring. There's no, it just doesn't feel like real football, in large part because it's kind of not. This will be real. Like, what does it look like? And then they have a lot of new pieces that they're excited about. But how many of those guys are ready to emerge? One of the thoughts that Weldon had that I agree with completely is that one of the things that made last year's team special is that there were great players on both sides of the ball. Does this team have great players? I mean, I think there's a couple of opportunities here. I think Zach Evans can be a great player.
Sure.
I think there are a handful of guys in the secondary that can be great players. But the difference between having some great players and just a bunch of good players can be a couple of games. It was for Ole Miss last year. I mean, the difference between 8-4 and 10-2 last year was great players. And so I want to see what some of these guys who are transferring in, I mean, Kiffin's brought up the chemistry thing, actually the culture thing, not chemistry, but culture, specifically a number of times. It's on his mind. I want to see what that looks like. And then I just kind of want to see how impactful some guys can be who are coming in, being asked to play big roles at a new school.
Do you think that's more likely that somebody's great from the portal, or if you get to a grade, it's homegrown guys who just take that extra step? An AJ Finley type, a Tysheem Johnson type.
That'd be my bet.
Guys along those lines that go, no, like they're real.
Yeah, that's my bet. It'd be one of those guys. Cedric Johnson takes the leap,
right.
becomes an elite player.
Jeremy excels at left tackle, that kind of thing, where they take the big steps.
Isaiah Aiton takes a leap, and there were some signs last year that he was ready to do it. I think that's more likely, frankly, than J.J. Pegues becoming an elite player a year after being a good player at Auburn.
Yeah, that just day one, here's that step, here's that jump.
Yeah,
we're gone.
We're talking about Jared Ivey. He was a good player at Georgia Tech, but he wasn't great. He was good. Does he step in and become a great player at Ole Miss? I guess it's conceivable. Is it likely? Now, I think Michael Trigg has a chance to be a great player. Now, is he ready to be a great player this season? I don't know. Down the road, certainly. The ability is there.
I love Bentley. I do. I think he's a change of pace guy that really adds an element they don't have.
Yeah, that's one of the storylines on offense is you're obviously taking a step back at quarterback, and they're taking a step back at quarterback.
No matter what.
They are. They're just taking a step
Luke or Jackson can be really good, and you're still taking a step back.
The odds of Luke or Jackson being as good this season as Matt Corral was last season are infinitesimally small.
Yeah.
So you're taking a step back at quarterback. You don't really know what you are at receiver. I think you're okay if Mingo's healthy and Robinson steps in, and you're okay. But if Mingo, who was in a boot in the spring, has any kind of a setback, suddenly you've got question marks at receiver.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty good up front, and you've got this stable of backs. I'm interested to see, does this become not a ground and pound team, but does this become a team that, hey, they really try to win running the football?
And ways, like we didn't see last year, ways to get running backs the ball in a variety of different ways. Really move them around, kind of like they flirted with but never went to last year.
Yeah.
Where you do some of those things and move them out and split them and do all kinds of formation candy, if you will.
Yeah.
To use that part of the element of the field. I mean, I don't know.
And that's another storyline is that it's a different offensive coordinator. Jeff Lebby's not there. It's Charlie Weiss. And what does that look like? Does Lane take a more proactive role in the offensive game plan each week? Does Lane take a more proactive role in play calling? What does that look like? I think there are a lot of questions. And a lot of questions doesn't necessarily mean the end of the world. I mean, people hear that and think that's all negative. No, listen, you're going to get some positive answers to some of those questions. That's part of camp, and the way that the schedule sets up, I think, gives them an opportunity to answer some questions. Like, I would have a different view on this season if the back end of the season were on the front end of the schedule.
Oh, God.
I'd be like, whoa, man, there's a recipe for disaster here. I think they're okay from a recipe standpoint. They've got a full extra month. Unless you buy the Georgia Tech's a real threat, and I don't.
They're not. They suck.
I don't. So they've got, Troy. I think John's going to do a really good job at Troy, but they're not beating SEC teams day one. You got Troy, you've got Central Arkansas,
Tulsa.
Georgia Tech and Tulsa. So you've got some time to answer some things, to work some kinks out, to sort some things out before what I think is a really good football team rolls into Oxford on October the 1st. And I can't believe the number of people that have pushed back against Kentucky on me.
You know exactly what you're getting from Kentucky, which is the ceiling in a way for Kentucky. They're going to show up. They got good quarterback play. They're going to play defense. They're going to be sound. They're going to be all those cliches we talk about.
They have a real identity.
You can beat them, but you have to beat them.
Yeah. No, they typically don't play great on the road against SEC West teams.
They don't.
So we'll see.
And they don't have talent all over the field. I mean,
no.
They've done a pretty good job in the portal. They've done some stuff.
But they're not crappy anywhere anymore.
They're good.
Rodriguez is a really good back.
Yeah, they're good.
People talk about Levis being a top 10 pick at quarterback. They're really good up front. Defensively, they're pretty damn good against the run. They're pretty solid in the secondary. October the 1st is going to be a test. I'm not saying Ole Miss can't pass that test and win the game, but there's going to be a difference between playing Tulsa and playing Kentucky.
Yeah, and I'll sell either quarterback being 2020 Corral. I just don't. That's not. I'm not there.
Yeah, I'll sell that too.
I mean, I know he had the 2 really bad games, but he was damn good a lot of times too. I'm gonna sell that.
Matt was really good against Florida that season. Matt was really good in a bunch of games that year.
Mm-hmm. He still carried them.
Yeah, I mean,
it was 5-5, but it was 5-5 with a win over Indiana, who was pretty good that year, and 4 SEC wins. It wasn't like they were playing the children of the poor. We in some ways, we almost undervalue what that season was, given the fact that it was Lane coming in and you're playing all league games. I mean, look around some other conferences that did that. You see some 2-8s. They didn't do that. They got to 5-5.
Yeah, and I know Matt had a bad half against LSU. He also had a great half against LSU. The second half of that game, he was really good without Elijah.
He almost willed it.
He didn't have Elijah out there. He didn't have Yeboah out there, and he still,
Yeah. So, podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC, service people across rural communities. 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's nespark.com, 662-238-3159. Phone service, parental controls, network security, and more. So, again, call the office. Get the best internet in Lafayette County. That's 662-238-3159.
Brought to you by Opa, Oxford's newest restaurant on the square. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops, handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, an amazing candlelit patio, and more. 306 South Lamar, just south of the square courthouse in Oxford. You'd be interested in this, Chase. I was talking to John Edwards. He just got back from a trip to England. And all of this doesn't mean anything to me because I'm not a golfer. Took a small group to England, to Scotland to play golf. They went to St. Andrews. They watched the Open Championship.
Okay.
Played 4 courses.
Okay.
3 in the Open rotation. Maybe you can help me here. The Royal Liverpool.
That's correct.
The Royal Birkdale.
Yep.
The Royal Troon.
Yep.
They also played at Ailsa at Turnberry.
Okay. You're good.
Then they went to Paris for a few days, visited the beaches at Normandy, and toured some champagne vineyards.
Oh.
Yeah, so if you're interested in trips like that, that's the kind of thing that John can set up. He can do that. If you tried to do that on your own, you'd run a real risk of screwing it up.
It would be a logistical nightmare.
So get in touch with John, 901-494-3387, jedwards@regencytravel.net. Let him create a vacation for you that will make a lifetime of unique memories. We're also brought to you by Pinnacle, which is home to the Pinnacle 401k Advisory Services team. Get in touch with them, and they'll conduct a complimentary, no-obligation benchmarking and analysis of your current 401k plan. It's mypinwealth.com, mypinn wealth.com. It's almost time to get all your gear ready for the football season. I know a lot of people went to the College Corner to get their national championship gear, which is great. I'm sure there's some of that still available there at collegecornerstore.com to get your football gear as well. 2 locations in Jackson, 1 in Ridgeland, 1 in Flowood. Also, collegecornerstore.com. Our friends from trying to eliminate something here. There we go.
Oh, on the stream?
Yes, we had a little
bot action. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
That
one was quite aggressive.
It was. They were serious.
Okay.
Starts to head spring fever. But anyway, we'll have a Thursday night show. We'll watch Jags and Raiders and talk to you guys. That's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating, different names, same great products and services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, call Comer at 662-801-1777. If you live in Hernando, Memphis, or the surrounding area, call the people at Southern, 662-429-4429. And we're brought to you by Lammon's Fine Jewelry, Lammon's, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard in Oxford. They've been serving the Oxford area for the past 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, pearls, fashion jewelry, whatever, they're the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lamonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777.
Podcast also brought to you by Johnston Hill Creamery. It's johnstonhillcreamery.com is the website, the Instagram page. Johnston Hill Creamery. They got their tailgate packages up and running. They'll be back in the Grove, back at Vaughn Hemingway before you notice. We're talking plenty of football. 3 different big packages. One feeds 10, 20, one feeds 40, depending on what you need. They will also artfully arrange those catering trays with disposable bamboo utensils to make it easy for you. Got plenty of different options, a lot of sandwich trays, a lot of charcuterie, the cheesecake dip, which is fantastic, that coming with fruit, cheese trays, and more. Remember, they make all their cheeses locally and in-house every single day here in Oxford, just off Molly Bar. 662-419-9201. So let's see. Actually, remember to take the pause there that time.
You got other things you're looking for?
No, I mean, if you got something, go ahead.
Well, we get some access.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, we get access at 9:00. We get to go watch. I always enjoy the first few days of camp because some people can't help themselves and they come out with a gazillion observations of practices that don't include pads. Because you have to do acclimation. You have to do 2 practices in shorts and jerseys, no pads. Then you do 2 practices with shoulder pads that are essentially full pad practices. But you can't go full pads until your 5th practice.
Is it that many? Okay,
yeah. You have 4 acclimation practices.
Look, no, you're not gonna. You're gonna call a roll. You're gonna see. I'm having a hard time coming up with anything because you're gonna do the thing. Goes, God, look how good that guy looks. Well, yeah, he was in an off-season SEC program, and he's an SEC athlete. They all look good. I'm not trying to not minimizing it. We're going to have coverage. You're going to have observations to whatever extent that is. But in shorts, I literally can't tell you anything that's going to jump out where you go, wow, let me tell you how this is going to have a legitimate impact on the season beyond roll call or injuries. Ulysses Bentley is going to look really good running around. And
yes.
I mean, where you go, hey, he would be hell on a flag football field right now. Zach Evans is a damn good-looking specimen at running back.
Yeah, and I'm not going to do, and all jokes aside, I'm not going to do the depth chart day 1 thing. I'll start watching who's running with the 1s and 2s after the first scrimmage.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know what I mean? After they scrimmage the first time.
And even then, it's really overall snap count more than even just 1s and 2s. Like, what packages are they in together? What does this look like? How are they working in the 8 or 9 defensive backs they would like to play to some degree at this point? Because they're going to play 5 or 6 or whatever. Who's getting linebacker reps together? What does that look like? Are they mostly only moving Tennyson up into the box because he's a hell of a run stopper, but he struggles at least to this point in pass pro or pass protection? I mean, pass coverage. I mean, it's a lot of stuff like that I do think you can glean to some extent over the course of the camp, but that's not while they're in shorts running through drills and stretches and getting just acclimated to even being out there in the heat and all those kind of things over the course of the first week.
Yeah, and you'll typically see some of the young guys struggling with the pace, but that's less of a storyline than it used to be in the old days because now a lot of them come and they go through spring and they go through the entire off-season program, so they're pretty acclimated.
And then sometimes it's on purpose. Hey, let's throw everything, and then we'll back off and actually get in. But, hey, you test them. You try to see what they can handle physically, mentally, schedule-wise. There's a routine to this that is going to be whatever. And at least they're going in the morning. I mean, there's some places that still do the 3 o'clock. Like,
Lots of places.
What are you doing?
Yeah. No,
Lane is very good on getting them in, working, and then getting them out and trying to not kill them from a freshness standpoint.
Now, he's not in – they go hard in August.
Yeah.
And then once the season rolls around, they back off a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's one of their calling cards is that they're fresh because their last real practice is Wednesday morning.
Oh, that's true. Only 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah,
and they're not long.
No,
we've covered coaches who will have them out there 2:45, 3 hours.
Yeah, no, it's quick.
Hour and a half, hour 45 too.
Yeah, late in the season, it's like really short. Like we're only doing this because we kind of feel like we have to.
We need to have practice.
Yeah.
Well, because so much is done in the film rooms and in the meeting rooms. I mean, at that point of the year, it's mental. It's preparation. It's not you got to see looks, but It's not, hey, let's go to Oklahoma and test our manhood today in week 8.
The one thing I'm going to try not to do is go watch a bunch of quarterback drills and base decisions, like what I think off that. I want to see what guys look like in team, who moves the football, who do they play with, who do they go against. And my anticipation is the first 2-3 weeks of this is going to be really scripted to give both guys a lot of opportunities.
Because why wouldn't you? I mean, you got time.
Sure.
You got a month.
Yeah,
You got more than that.
I want both guys to feel like they're in it.
And you mean that from what standpoint?
Every standpoint.
Okay.
Whoever's not the starter day one, I want him still very engaged in the program.
Sure. I guess we technically we'll be able to pick something up from kickers early. And I mean, again, that does matter.
Yeah. Costa will be out there, but he's suspended. Is that correct?
That's my interpretation.
Okay.
I mean, he is suspended. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what his out there or availability or what his practice situation looks like because he is suspended until the week before the Egg Bowl. It was 365 days. It was one calendar year from that point.
From the first day, yeah.
Yeah, that is correct. But I mean, we've seen that situation where you've got kickers out there in camp that do pretty well, and you go, all right, it's fine. And you got kickers who can't hit anything. You go, oh no, that's not good because they're not just going to get better all of a sudden in the next 3 weeks. I mean, it's a little bit like if you're coaching a tennis player or a golf player. What they are is kind of what they are. You're not going to suddenly go, wow, that dude, he fixed it.
You can tweak some things,
but nah, it's not getting fixed. I mean, we've covered some really good kickers and we've covered some horrid kickers.
But the first practice that I'll be like really interested to watch will be the first scrimmage. I'll be pretty dialed in for that one. I mean, I'll go out there. I'll make some observations on what I see and stuff like that. But everybody looking good and running around good is not. I don't think that's all that newsworthy, because the odds are overwhelming that at the other places in the SEC that you're going to play against, their guys are running around looking pretty good too. You know what I mean, I'm going to guess Will Levis.
There's no way to quantify that.
Will Levis looks pretty good throwing against air in Lexington, I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that Rodriguez running around in the backfield with nobody hitting him looks pretty damn good.
It is nice to at least cover a team and a program where expectations are reasonably high. I kind of deserve that after some of the years early. And there is a certain camp feel to getting back at it where there's some energy because you're watching a quality product at least. I mean, we've had the years, God bless them, where we we charted every pass of a 3-headed quarterback competition when they didn't have a quarterback. I mean, we've
had seasons where the diehard fan, the red and blue glasses, goes, "Hey, I think we can get to 10-2," and you and I would think there is not a chance in hell that this team sniffs anything resembling 10-2.
Yeah, this team can't get to 6-6.
Yeah, and so now when people say, "Hey, can this team get to 10-2?" Yeah, sure. Do I think they will? I don't.
Yeah, it's a different conversation.
Do I think they can? Yeah, of course.
Yeah, completely different conversation.
You know, and the floor on this team to me the floor is 6-6. And we've covered teams where the floor was the deep floor. We covered a team where I said going into the season, I didn't say it out loud because I would have gotten killed, but I said it to you. The floor was 1-11, and they went 2-10.
Oh, that group.
Yeah. I mean, the floor on that team was really low.
Well, the FCS.
Yeah,
that's it.
And this team doesn't have a floor like that. I don't think. I think Lane has built the program to a place where the floor would be disappointing, but it's not devastating to
no. You can
progress.
Get if you went, hey, they just couldn't win the close wins. That didn't work. This guy got hurt. You can create a situation of 7-5 pretty easily. But I mean, 7-5 is still 7-5. I mean, it's not like you bottomed out and went 3-9 and you're a laughing stock in the league. I mean, it would be a disappointment for sure.
Right.
And with the way it ended, it would look like some of those Cutcliffe seasons where they got off hot and they went like 1-5 down the stretch or whatever. But,
yeah.
I mean, that's
it's like people say, what's worst case scenario? To me, worst case scenario is that you get into that stretch of games against, Auburn, LSU, Texas A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, and maybe you go 1-4, 0-5. That would be, to me, worst case. And that's possible. I mean, those are all good teams, potentially.
yeah. Things went hellaciously bad.
But
And
do I anticipate that they would go 1-4? No, I don't. But now, you could play fairly well and go 2-3 in that stretch. That's the thing.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, it's wide receivers. Just what is that? What is that situation? Mingo's health, Knox's health,
Linebackers.
2 guys. Yeah, linebacker.
I want to see what that looks like.
And then again, what a rotation looks like at defensive line. I think they've got some decent players. I think there's an okay situation there. But again, what is Gordon? What is Iton? What do they look like in year 2? Do they take those JUCO steps that they need to take?
Does Jeremy James make the move from right tackle? I think he does. I think he does perfectly fine at left tackle, but I want to see it. They've got at times in the spring, center was an issue. I think they felt much better about it by the end, and it's probably not an issue, but I'd like to see that early. I mean, it's not Alabama where you go, man, they're just
here they go.
I mean, Alabama's floor this year, frankly, is 11-1.
Mm-hmm.
They're that good. There's a deeper floor. This is a momentum year for a program. But look, if you and I did this yesterday, how many coaches in the league, if you offered them 8-4 right now, today, how many coaches in the league would say no? Or right away? Not would eventually say no, but how many coaches in the league, if you said, hey, I'll tell you what, we'll give you 8-4 right now, no questions asked. You don't get to ask any questions, but 8-4. Saban would say no. Mark Richt would say, no, not Mark Richt. Kirby Smart would say no. And Jimbo would have to say no because 8-4 would be appropriate.
He's saying no, but I understood what you meant of like.
Yeah, the other guys, look, Lane Kiffin might eventually say no. Mark Stoops might eventually say no, but they'd think about it. Brian Kelly would probably take 8-4 if you offered it to him right now. Brian Harsin would probably take 8-4 right now if you offered it to him. Sam Pittman would take 8-4 right now. Shane Beamer would take 8-4. Clark Lee would fall to his knees.
Oh, he might literally like have some moments.
Yeah.
Like
he would convulse. I think Billy Napier would take 8-4. If you offered him 8-4
sure.
right now today, yeah, sure. I think he'd have to take it.
Probably a little frustrated just because of his competitiveness level and going, hey, but no, you take it.
Josh Heupel might look at it and go, oh, but he'd probably take it. Eli Drinkwitz would take it instantly. Mike Leach would take 8-4.
It's interesting that while you're right, it is still possible for A&M to go 8-4. They've got all those young guys.
Oh,
like that's,
sure.
That thing's not some automatic whatever. That they're just going to go 10-2 and beat everybody and win every close game and it be the deal.
Yeah. Thoughts certainly to the family of the young man in Brandon, Mississippi. Yes. By the way. That stuff is.
There's no words.
I don't know enough to say anything.
This is not related to that situation because I know literally nothing about that situation. But just emphasize hydration constantly and to tell someone.
Yeah, and you've got to have people that are observing the kids, and maybe I'm sure they did, but man. That mentality of work until exhaustion is you better be you got to be careful in the heat. It's hot.
Yeah. No good segue out of that, so I'll just take a quick break here and tell you about G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They deliver locally in the Oxford area and they offer medicine. 3 prescriptions the same day each month. and take care of you. If you'd like to switch your medications over to G&M, handle it with one phone call. You give them a call, tell them where you are, where you want to go, and they will take care of it all for you. And again, with their med packs, they'll individually package your medication for those who need that extra step. The morning pouch, the afternoon pouch, great for parents or, again, somebody who needs a little closer monitoring there, potentially save lives in the right situation. So in Oxford, that's 662-236-2222.
ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt, Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider, a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff, a UL 508A panel shop, so much more. You can learn more at acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. Game Changer patches are the only two-patch system available in the market. Stop hangovers before they start. Warm-up patch used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. All natural ingredients keep you in the game, ready for the next play. Go to GameChangerPatch.com. Promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off your purchase. Best socks you'll ever put on your feet are at Dead Soxy. Go to DeadSoxy.com. Promo code RebelGrove. Get 25% off. The no-shows, the traditional socks, the Ole Miss theme socks, they're all there as you get ready for football season. Also brought to you by Holcomb Portable Buildings, 7991 Holcomb, Highway 7 South in Holcomb, Mississippi, I should say. They custom build your building to your specifications, however you want your carport, your ATV, your storage shed, barn, hunting cabin, other buildings. Holcomb Portable Buildings can accommodate you. They have in-house financing that's available, free delivery, set up within 75 miles of Holcomb as well. 662-226-2233 or go to holcombbuildings.com. You can also find them on Facebook or Instagram at Holcomb Portable Buildings. Solutions RX is a probiotic multivitamin and supplement company created by Ole Miss Pharmacy alum Chris Cornelison. It's pharmaceutical grade, manufactured right here inside Mississippi under the highest standards, based out of Iuka. If you take diabetes, high blood pressure medicine, or cholesterol medicines, they typically cause side effects like muscle pain, brain fog, energy loss. It's because of a depletion of minerals and vitamins in the body. So Chris formulated a product called Prescription Support to put those vitamins back into your body to help you with those side effects and stay more compliant in taking your medications, helping you stay healthier over the long term. It's available in local independent pharmacies across the continental U.S., including all across Mississippi. It's also available on their website, solutionsrx.com, promo code OEP at checkout to get 10% off your first order. Brought to you by MyPerfectFranchise.net. If you're looking to diversify, looking to leave the corporate rat race to gain control of your income and schedule, MyPerfectFranchise.net offers the ability to create income and wealth. Let Andy Ludecki guide you through a comprehensive franchise evaluation. He's done tons of franchise and business ownership experience that you can lean on. And if you hate your boss, you hate your job, you hate your pay, you feel stuck, Andy can help. It's Andy at MyPerfectFranchise.net.
So this number's been out there, but yesterday or a couple days ago, whenever it was, maybe it was yesterday, Live Golf CEO Greg Norman confirming in an interview with Tucker Carlson that Tiger Woods was offered somewhere in the neighborhood of $700 to $800 million to join the Live Tour organization, whatever we are calling this. Obviously, the 15-time major champions. He is the noodle in golf. He is not a needle mover. He is the needle. Norman saying that number was prior to him becoming CEO, but that is in the ballpark of what is going on. Obviously, Woods did not take it. He has been very critical of players and the tour in general, and he's one of the few people on earth that has no need to take that, right, considering legacy and the entire body of work of one Tiger Woods. That's a no-brainer for him.
He can go get that money wherever.
Yeah, and I mean, he's built on the majors and the PGA Tour and the legacy and being that guy and that spokesman and that representative. And especially as he gets older in age, he's going to become a kind of a mix almost between Nicklaus and Palmer from kind of how he is observed and sort of what he does for the game.
Yeah.
And that he's going to, whether it just be a good college player or a pro or whatever, he's going to follow Charlie around and hit some golf balls here and there. And look, his body is going to break down. I do not think Charlie Farley. Tiger Woods will be playing competitive golf in 5 or 6 years to any major account.
No, but he'll be the guy that leads off the Masters with the ceremonial shot, and everybody will be there to see it.
He'll be around some.
Sure. He'll play around here and there. Yeah. No, he's still, to this day, the biggest name in golf. And he's no longer championship competitive. He's still, to this day, one of the biggest names in sports. Period.
What's your take? Do you think some of these, a lot of these guys who've joined LIV have had their sponsorships dropped by their other sponsors, the clothings, the clubs, the things along those lines? Do you think they come back as it normalizes?
If it normalizes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still fairly new.
It's very new.
I mean, the PGA Tour can make them go away, but they're going to have to probably do some things that they're uncomfortable with.
When it's unlimited money, it's hard to make somebody go away.
Yeah, I mean, you could fix some things at the PGA Tour where it's less incentive for guys to go do it, but the money's the money.
It's going to. It would require
a lot
overhaul.
Yeah, and I don't know that that's who they are. I mean, there's a mailbag question that I've been mulling over: who's in worse shape, the NCAA or the PGA Tour? And
it's NCAA,
and the answer is the NCAA.
Yeah.
But the PGA Tour is going to have to change. Otherwise, the money that's thrown at these young guys, it's too much to turn down.
We did not talk about the change, but I guess later in the day, after we had the big long discussion on the podcast, the Cardinals removed that clause from Kyler Murray's contract.
Yes.
It was taken the wrong way, they said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was never supposed to get out publicly.
Yeah. It led to people assuming things, including in your building.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
You assumed that it was needed. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done it.
It was a problem in your building.
Yeah.
Yes. That wasn't the dirty old media. There's plenty of dirty old media. That wasn't it. That was you guys are idiots. Yeah.
Between them doing that and the Browns using the word triggered in their statement about Deshaun Watson yesterday, I mean, we're on a heater right now from NFL franchises and dumb comments.
By the way, I heard someone talking yesterday. There's a big story out in The Athletic about Joe Burrow and the next step.
Okay.
Burrow's the bargain pick for MVP right now.
Yeah, we liked those odds the other day.
Yeah. They're better up front. He's got his receivers back. They're solid. He's the guy that, because Cleveland's might be a train wreck. Pittsburgh's taking a step back. Baltimore's not the same team. They might be able to roll up a bunch of wins too.
Oh. What does it take for him to win the MVP though?
Probably has to go 14-3.
It's got to be big because he's
got some big games for him to do it, like at Dallas in week 2, at Baltimore, at New Orleans. He's got that Monday night game at Cleveland. He's got a game Thanksgiving weekend at Tennessee. Plays the Chiefs a week later. Plays at Tampa Bay in a game everyone will watch December the 18th. They play against the Patriots on Christmas Eve. And then that January 2nd, they play Buffalo. So, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for him to, they've got a much different schedule, a much harder schedule, but we'll see. I mean, he's the guy I kind of bet on, though.
It's going to require Mahomes and Allen not doing the same thing too.
Yeah,
it will require a little bit of drop by those guys.
I'm much higher on Allen having the big year than I am Mahomes. Like, I think Mahomes' numbers could fall off a little bit.
Yeah,
he lost some weapons.
And
you read around the NFL a little bit.
There's a reason why Allen's the favorite.
Yeah, you read around the NFL a little bit. There's some people that think that Mahomes has been, when I say exposed, I don't mean like, suddenly he's going to be a bad player. But people may have figured out some ways to beat him, to slow him down. And he's going to see more of that.
Now, in saying that, I would take one of those 3 quarterbacks against the field. I still don't think it's going to be a running back. I don't think it's going to be something, I don't know. Like, I'm not.
No.
We said if you want to put 100 on Jonathan Taylor at plus 5,000 because it's plus 5,000, sure.
Because he could put up massive numbers.
Yeah. He runs for 1,600 yards or something, and suddenly we're having a different conversation.
I'm not sure the Colts can win enough to make that.
Because they have to be a top 2 seed.
Yeah, and I don't know that they can get there.
Yeah. No, I think I agree with that. So. We'll see. Box score stuff up on the side. Ole Miss played their first basketball game in the Bahamas last night. So that is there if you want to.
They play again tonight at 5. I watched some of the game last night. James White played well. Morrell had the quietest 16 points I've ever seen. You just can't make judgments from that at all.
They're just playing some thrown together guys too, so I don't know what to make of it.
There's no roughing. Abram, the young point guard, did some good things. But like I said yesterday, I refuse one way or the other to make any sweeping judgments on a basketball team on August the 1st playing a game in the Bahamas in practice unis. The people that try to do that, God bless them. I get it. It's just fandom. I understand it, but it's just way too early to even.
Their best players not on their first or second best players on the floor.
And I wouldn't care if he were on the floor. I know. I'm just saying, won by 207 points.
But you're playing some dudes that just kind of came together this week. I get it's the select team, but they haven't been practicing for a year in preparation for this.
Right.
And then Ruffin and Mbala are both guys who you are going to be counting on if you're any good at all.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Sure.
There were some good things. There were some things that they need to work on. Their post defense needs work. But there's time to put that work in. It was sort of
a look at some newcomers.
Yeah, a little. Exactly.
Yeah.
In a really.
A scrimmage.
Yeah, scrimmage.
Yeah, it was a scrimmage. All right, we will have more to you tomorrow. Again, Lane will talk at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon.
We will probably start early tomorrow, or earlier than we normally do, because we get access starting at 9. They won't actually start doing anything right at 9, so we don't feel like we have to be there right at 9. But we're going to try to get out there so that we can bring some observations your way. And we get Lane at 2.
It's 2.
We get some players after that. Some of that will come to you later in the week and that kind of thing, but.
Point being, there's wheels in motion. So that is where
we'll have football content tomorrow.
Yeah. Preseason camp coming up tomorrow. So hope all of you hang in for that. Rebel Grove in the meantime. A lot of podcasts on the network, and we'll talk to you then.